Elyse, and today I'm going to be doing the Fairy Tales IRL book tag, which was inspired by the book Something in Between, which I was sent by Harlequin Teen, and Harlequin Teen is actually sponsoring this video, so thank you very much, Harlequin. Getting on to what this book is about, we follow a girl named Jasmine, and she comes from a Filipino family, and basically her whole life she has been the good girl. She has great grades, she's popular, she's beautiful, so from like an outside perspective it seems that she has everything, and she is actually invited to a national scholarship type thing, and her family has to admit that their visas had expired years ago and her whole family is illegal. She and her family face the threat of deportation, so she takes this time as a time of rebellion. She does everything that she said that she'd never do because she feels like in a way it's her last chance. I've had my eye on this book ever since I knew it was going to be coming out, and I think it's very important, especially in today's society, how I think the world is very divided and it's important to read what is relevant at the moment. I think that this book is definitely going to be shedding some light on a particularly important situation that goes on a lot. Okay, so the first question is Fairy Godmother, a contemporary trope where a motherly/fatherly figure guides a misguided protagonist. It took me a very long time to figure out what book to match this question with, because I've noticed in a lot of YA books it's very hard to find a parent or parent figures that are present throughout the entire novel. Sometimes they're just mentioned, sometimes usually they're dead. I found one, and that is the dads in Lola and the Boy Next Door. The dads were probably one of my favorite parts of this entire novel. In the beginning, Lola is not making the best choices when it comes to guys. She's dating kind of this bad boy who's just a total jerk, and her dads really want what is best for her, and that's kind of a dad's worst nightmare, is when their daughter dates a guy that they know is not good for their daughter. Also, this is the first book that I ever read dealing with gay parents, which is so awesome, and I think there definitely needs to be more of that because they are honestly one of the best parents I've read in a book. The next question is Prince Charming, a contemporary character who takes a heroic quest or act for his or her love interest. I'm going with Roger and Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. I know that in the beginning they don't even really know each other. They're like kind of distant, very distant family friends. Not even family, they're just like friends somehow. Roger just decides to help Amy do a road trip, something that she's very anxious and she has anxiety about, and he just decides to be the driver and really help her out in that situation. He does become a hero in a way when he chooses to do that. Question is Forbidden Fruit, the contemporary trope of giving into temptation. For that, I'm going to be going with a recent read, and that is The Sky is Everywhere by Jenny Nelson. In this book, the main protagonist, Lenny, she is dealing with the recent death of her sister, and her sister's boyfriend and her try and find solace in each other, and it's very like you're trying to cope with your dead sister's boyfriend, and there was feelings there. She gives into the temptation. Very questionable, but also grief is dealt with in a very odd way sometimes, and I think that this book did a great way in showing that. I didn't love this book, but I did enjoy it, and I think it gave a good message on some things just are, and there's really no meaning, no reason to it. Humans are weird and we just do things to cope sometimes. Question number 4 is When the Clock Strikes Midnight, a contemporary trope where the character must fear an impending moment. I'm gonna go with the character Jam and Belljar by Meg Wolitzer. This book was inspired by Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar. In this book, our main character Jam, she's dealing with grief as well, and she's sent to a boarding school, and there she's in an English class where she gets to write in this journal, and when she does write in it, she's transported to this like idyllic world called Belljar where everything is perfect. The traumatic experience didn't happen, and she's in this kind of like on cloud 9. So she is given the choice to either lose sense of reality and kind of stay in this world, or deal with reality and face her struggles. And it's just, while you're reading it, you know she has to choose, so you're just waiting for it. And I definitely think that a lot of people need to read this book because I was not expecting to love this book as much as I did. There is definitely a mind F in this book, and I really enjoyed it. Question number 5 is The Big Bad Wolf, an antagonist so powerful that the hero feels helpless against it, her/him. For that, I'm going with Madeline's illness in Everything by Nicola Yoon. Madeline, in this book, she is allergic to everything, and she is really only in contact with her mom, her nurse, and occasionally like a teacher comes over. Then a boy moves next door, and he makes her kind of question a lot of things and want more than she really ever wanted. It's very hard to do that when you are allergic to everything. Again, I didn't love this book like a lot of people did, but I did really enjoy it, and I would recommend it because it is nice and fluffy. Just the way it ended wasn't my favorite. Number 6 is The Power Within, a contemporary example of unexpected power from a character who imagines themselves to be ordinary. For that, I'm gonna go with Finn in 100 Sideways Miles by Andrew Smith. Finn in this book, his father is basically kind of like today's Stephen King. He has written these crazy sci-fi books that everyone knows, everyone is in love with, and they're especially in love with the main character, who is kind of inspired by Finn, but Finn feels like he dulls in comparison to that character. He feels like he can never be himself or ever live up to the glory that is this fictional character, but he does a lot of extraordinary things in this book with the way he helps his friends, the way he's just a great guy. And that's why I chose him for this one. Question number 7 is The Grand Ball, a contemporary trope wherein a character faces a major moment in fitting in. And for that, I'm going with Solomon in Highly Illogical Behavior by John Corey Whaley. And Solomon, he suffers from agoraphobia, which is an extreme and irrational fear of enclosed spaces, crowded spaces. Basically, he cannot leave his house because he has such extreme anxiety. And I guess that kind of goes in with not fitting in. He just doesn't interact with kids his age. He doesn't really want to. Also, he's gay, but that's not really anything. He doesn't suffer fitting in because he's gay. He's accepted that as kind of not the big deal of this book, which I loved because I think that it was just the norm, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It was kind of just, hey, I'm gay, that's how I am, deal with it, I don't really care. And I really loved that. Also, there's a great friendship in this book, and this book does not go the way you think it is, the way tropes are. It definitely goes in a great direction, I think, and it's short, it's sweet, and I really enjoyed this book. The next question is Fairest of Them All, a contemporary pressure for outer beauty that challenges the importance of inner beauty. I'm going with Eleanor from Eleanor in Park by Rainbow Rowell. Eleanor is picked at for the way she looks with the kids in high school and her stepfather, and he just picks at her insecurities. He's a horrible guy, but Park sees what she has to offer all around. He sees her inner beauty, he sees her outer beauty, and you know, it's so important to see, and especially in the way society is today. We're so infatuated with outer beauty, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, liking makeup. Obviously I wear makeup, but it's a whole nother thing, and if you want to get a great perspective on that, watch the documentary Misrepresentation. I think it's on Netflix, but it does a great way in explaining that it's the way society is so infatuated with outer beauty is kind of disgusting. And do not get me wrong, I do like makeup, I do like looking good. It's not that. The fact that outer beauty takes precedence over everything. More women in the US today spend more money on cosmetic surgery than education. And beauty fades, everyone. Beauty fades, but I think that it's so important in today to find people who love you, for what you have to offer with your brain, more so what you have to offer with your looks. Question number 9 is The Evil Stepmother, a contemporary character who evokes anger or resentment for stepping into another's role. The only thing I can think of that is Ashley in The Killing Woods by Lucy Christopher. Ashley kind of harbors some resentment towards her mother because Ashley's father had been accused of killing a local girl, and her mother kind of just checks out, and Ashley blames her mom in a bit of a way for checking out, but also her mom kind of has some blame on Ashley. It's kind of just a little bit of everything, but that's the only thing I could really think about for that question. And the last question is Happily Ever After, a contemporary belief in finding happiness at the end, even when the road to get there has its struggles. And for that, I'm gonna go with the book Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. Our main character, Sam, she is dealing with OCD, very severe case of OCD, and she's getting help for it. She's seeing a specialist. Her mom also helps her a great deal, and there's definitely a lot of struggles in the way, but the way this book ended was so beautiful and definitely did not end the way you think it would. And I think that this book is a great example of kind of just a good ending to what is a great struggle and a great battle. That was the Fairy Tales IRL book tag, which was inspired by the book Something in Between by Melissa De La Cruz. If you want to do this tag, I tag you, but I'm also going to be tagging 3 other people. I will tag Sophie at Sophiesseries, Naya from Nayareadsandsmiles, and Jesy from Jesy Elyse. I feel like Chanel from Scream Queens with this like fuzzy sweater dress on, very Chanel-like. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.